What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria, and today we are going to be doing our March wrap up and our April TBR. So if you've been around here for a little bit, you would have seen that last month we let the tarot cards, I've already taken them out of the box, we've let the tarot cards pick our TBR, and I had a lot of fun with that. I thought it was an interesting way to do it, but with that in mind, I thought I would do a quick check-in on how we actually did with that TBR and just give you a quick overview of the books that we actually read in the month of March. And then after we do that, we'll go ahead and lay our cards back out and see what they predict for us to read in the month of April. Now, I do have some ideas of what I want to do in the month of April, so we'll see if the cards feel kind to me. I think I'm still gonna do a 5-card spread like we did last time, and I'm really going to make sure to shuffle those cards so we get a bit of a variety, hopefully, with our spread this month. With that in mind, I am shuffling these cards, but let me go ahead and grab our books, and in the interim, we should check back to see what our actual TBR selections were from the month of March. So let's roll that footage, shall we? Saw in that video with our brief recap of our TBR from March. We started off with the 7 of Wands, which was the Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I did a full review of this book in a video that I'll link up here, along with some of the other ones that we'll talk about. But the Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, again, this is about Avery Graham's, where she suddenly inherits the estate of a very, very wealthy man in Dallas and basically upends everything their family thought was going on, and then is forced to live in the house with this family that was just disinherited in order to keep the money that was given to her. And I believe I gave this book 4 stars from what I remember. I was sick when I read this, and this was like a perfect short read for a feverish night, and I had a great time. I do intend on picking up some of the other books at a later date, but at this point, we're just gonna leave it as is. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it. As the Ace of Wands that we saw in the video, and that was The Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I actually just finished this book last night. Technically, it was at like 12:30 a.m. So my story graph will say that I read it in April, but I technically finished this in March. We're gonna count this as a March read because I was done with it. I gave this 4.5 stars on Storygraph. Originally I was going to give it 4 because for anybody who is interested in this, this is like a space opera, sci-fi, cozy sci-fi kind of adventure. It follows the crew of the Wayfarer, which is a ship that like punches holes through the galaxy to create like fast travel ports. And we are introduced to everybody on the Wayfarer through the character Rosemary, and she joins the crew as basically their admin, which they are in great need of. And through her and through the perspective of the characters that we meet through her, we kind of go through this journey that they have to do this really big project that comes up to allow them to make a lot more money than they typically do. And I said I was originally gonna give this 4 stars because it takes a little while, in my opinion, to get used to the storytelling style. And at first I was like having a hard time grasping onto the characters and really like anchoring myself in the story and finding myself to like care about what was going on. But I will say the last 100 pages really tied everything together for me, and so I put this at 4.5 stars. I am looking forward to picking up the rest of the Wayfarer series and anything else that Becky Chambers puts out. I also thought it was really interesting to know, if you read like the back of this book, that Becky Chambers actually did a Kickstarter back in 2012 because like her freelancing had kind of dried up and she wanted to continue doing this book but couldn't pay her bills. And so she had like 50 backers on Kickstarter and they helped her finish this book, and the rest is history. So I thought that was really interesting as somebody who is also looking to, you know, dip their toes into novel writing, and not sci-fi, but a fantasy. So I am excited to continue to read the series and support Miss Chambers. Next was The Memory of Babel by Christelle Davos. We also talked about this in that video over here. This is the third book in the Mirror Visitor series. I gave this 5 stars. You can hear me gush about it all in there. I could gush about it again because I love this series so much, but I won't put you through that again. But we did finish that, so we were starting strong with our TBR. Next, we had the 10 of Cups, which is the Jane Austen Society. That is somewhere out here, but we did not finish that. I have not read it yet. That is a library book. So I'm hoping to kind of bring that over to April. And then finally on our best behavior was our book that we picked for the Page of Cups. And unfortunately, I had to return that book because there was somebody who was waiting for it and I just wasn't gonna have time to finish it before my hold was up. So I still really want to read it. I got about like 50 pages in. I was thoroughly enjoying it. It seems like a chronically readable nonfiction, and so I am excited to pick it back up. But I don't know exactly when that will be. But the final book that we completed here in the month of March is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I picked this up while I was visiting family in Florida, and I read it in like a day and a half. I also talked about my full review of that in that video, so you can check that out. I think I gave this one like 3.5 stars. I had a lot of fun in the beginning. I thought the world building was interesting, but by the time I got to the end of this book, I just really didn't care, which I think was unfortunate. I am still up in the air whether I'll pick up the second one. I do think her world was interesting. I just don't know if I was super connected with the main character. But I do know that these are like a series of duologies, so you know, it might be worth going through and reading the second one of this and then reading the third one, which is going to switch perspectives, and see if that changes my mind. I don't know. We'll see. But we did finish this one, and that wrapped us up with 4 completed books. And I will have to say, even though one of these books was not in the TBR, she still kind of matches the color scheme we had of green. We've got kind of the green serpent on here, so I feel like that still worked out pretty well. And in addition to that, I am currently listening on audiobook to The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty by S.A. Chakraborty. I'm really enjoying that, but I've been listening to that on audiobook. I picked that up on Libro FM, and I've been having a really good time, so I will continue on with that one, whether or not it makes it into our tarot card TBR for the month of April. So that is our quick wrap up of the month. Now let's go ahead and get these tarot cards set up so we can see what we are going to be reading here in the month of April. So let's get that going. Okay, so I am looking at the spreads from A Little Spark of Joy for our 5-card spread, and I thought we would switch it up this month and we would go with just their 5-card general spread for the future. So again, I'm just really mixing these up since we had all of the same type of card last time. Oh, where did my little booklet go? Oh, it should be somewhere. All right, so I'm going to break it, and then I'm gonna put this one on top. All right, here we go. So our first one is going to be up here, and this, our main card. And then for the next one, I feel like it's messy over here. So we have our main card here, and then the second one is going to be the love card. This is career and money. This one is health and home life. And this one is health, and this one is home life. So here we go. Here's our cards right here. Go ahead and flip over our first card. Ooh, the Chariot. What is the Chariot? Okay, so our first card is the Chariot. So to give you a quick synopsis of what the Chariot is, the Chariot with its triumphant occupant indicates forward motion, success, and willpower. Although the Sphinxes are the opposite color and pulling in opposite directions, the Chariot still moves forward through the willpower of the driver. The Chariot rider wasn't given any of his possessions. He earned them through dedication and personal achievement. The Chariot. That one is super interesting, and I already know which one I'm gonna put for that one. And this fits right into the vlog idea I had anyways for this book. So are we cheating? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So this one I think I spoke about briefly in that video, that reading vlog video, as I found this. It's a new release that came out in February of this year, I believe, and it's called Just Stab Me Now by Jill Barup. I hope that's correct. And so the synopsis of this reads, Caroline Lindley is determined that her new romance novel will be her best one yet. Fantasy, floral gowns, fencing, and, of course, a 20-something heroine to star in an enemies to lovers plot with all of Caroline's favorite tropes. But Lady Rosamond Hawkhurst is a 36-year-old widow. She has a war to stop and 2 children to get home to, and flatly refuses to take the correct approach to there being only one bed. What's an author to do, especially when discussions with her editor might reveal that he and Rosamond's hot enemy have some suspicious similarities? So I'm gonna pick this one for the Chariot, and my primary reason is both characters seem to have a lot of willpower, and I like the idea that there are these 2 Sphinxes that are going in opposite directions, which I feel like in the book is Caroline and her character, Lady Rosamond Hawkhurst. And then we have the author who is actually driving the plot forward. So I feel like this is a perfect embodiment of the Chariot. So we are going to choose this one for our main card on the TBR, and I am very excited because I have been looking forward to reading this book, and I probably am going to read it next. So, all right, next up on our list, let's check the cards and see what we got.
So, unfortunately, all of the second and third tarot card pulling was not recorded in either of the books. So our second tarot card represents love, and that's the card of Justice, which is the major arcana. And justice is simply the representation of fairness and balance. It reminds us that we are always responsible for our actions and that there are consequences for everything. Justice also represents truth. It encourages finding truth through facts and by being thorough. Do not be too hasty to deal out judgment before knowing the full truth. The book that I chose for this card is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. The main reason I chose this one is because I had heard that the main character of Mercy in this book agrees to the arranged marriage with the male werewolf love interest because she is seeking out truth. And since this card is the card of love and she's seeking out truth, I thought this would be the perfect match for our second card in our spread. So our next card is in the Minor Arcana, and this is the Five of Swords, and the suit of swords is associated with the element of air, representing intellect, logic, action, and power. Aspects of the sword can be used for good, but can also be very powerful when used for evil. The five is indicative of conflict or disagreement with others. It resembles the fallout of winning a battle. And as this being our third card in our spread, this card represents career and work life. So the book I chose for this one is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. The reason I chose this book is it seems that our main character has made some morally gray choices by assassinating the royal family, and is now looking to finish the job by participating in some kind of game. And this kind of puts her in a tough spot because she ends up partnering with someone that she loves. So this seemed like a perfect one for this card.
So the Wheel of Fortune is our number 4. And the Wheel of Fortune is again in the Major Arcana, and the Wheel of Fortune reminds us that life is always in flux. There are many symbols on this card representative of dozens of life cycles we experience. There is an aspect of the Wheel of Fortune that foretells good luck and success, often when the querent is making good decisions anyway. The Wheel of Fortune encourages optimism and faith that the universe will grant a good outcome. The universe is unpredictable and sometimes chaotic, but will take care of us if we are open to it. Now, first I'm going to say honestly, as a chronic illness girly, getting this for health, I mean, yes, thank you. Now, book-wise, I don't know whether to be excited or nervous or a mixture of both, but for the Wheel of Fortune, I have chosen The Good Cat by Hiro Arikawa, who is, and it's a translated work. But the reason I chose this one is it has 7 different stories that really chronicle different people's situations through the cycles of life, through the eyes of cats. So I thought this would be a great one since the Wheel of Fortune talked about cycles of lives. And I feel like this is going to be optimistic, despite the fact that some things will be a little sad. So I think this one will be a good one. I think it's not too long. It's under 300 pages. So we have The Good Cat. I'm excited. This has been sitting on here and I keep looking at it because isn't she cute? Okay, a last card is going to be Home Life, number 5. Oh, that looks sad. That's good. 5 of Cups. All right, so a 5 of Cups here, I do believe, is our final card, our spread. And as I mentioned, this is one of the Minor Arcana as well. So we had the 5 of Swords. Funny, we have the 5 of Cups now. So let's see which element Cups represent. Okay, so Cups. So the suit of Cups is associated with the element of water, representing emotions, feelings, and relationships. Cups indicate what is happening in the heart rather than in the head. A lot of love stuff today. So, emotional stuff. So the 5. The 5 symbolizes disappointment and regret with an unexpected outcome. It indicates the need to move on. And so that is with Home Life. Not really sure what that means. Maybe it means that we should have moved out of this apartment when we were thinking about it. We won't dally on that too much because we are using this for books and not for life advice. Am I right? Okay. I think I can fit in the 3rd book that I was going to have for my vlog video in this. One, because it's water. Hold on. Isn't she pretty? So this is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. This is the Illumicrate version, so this came out for the month of March, and this does have to do a lot with water. Sea was the theme here, so I do feel like that goes along with the idea that the cups are representative of the water element. This book has to do with some changes that are going on in society, and the way that she wraps it up is that both of our characters here will need to decide if the cost of change is worth paying or if Tian Kaiwi should be left to drown. So this is a fantasy debut novel. It seems to have a heavy East Asian influence in it, and the society seems to be heavily water-based. So I think this will fit in with our final tarot card for this, and that is the 5 of Cups.
So here is a final look at the spread. We have the Chariot in our first slot. We have the Justice card in our second slot. We have the 5 of Swords in our third slot, the Wheel of Fortune in the fourth, and the 5 of Cups in the fifth slot.
And one last look at our TBR. So we have, these have no color coordination here, but again, Just Stab Me Now, Bride, Goodbye Cat, and Fathomfolk. Sounds like a good pick. We shall see if the cards steered us in the right direction for our reading selection this month. I will check in with you at the beginning of May to see how many books we completed. If I thought the cards picked a good TBR for me, of course, yes, I have a little bit of leeway since I am interpreting them. But this is a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it, or maybe learned something about tarot as I'm learning a little bit about it. If you made it to the end of this video, feel free to go ahead and drop like a cup, or is there a sword emoji? If there's a sword emoji. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you feel like sticking around for some more Bookish and Nerdish content, feel free to subscribe. I upload every Sunday and sometimes on Wednesdays. And until next time, I hope you read a good book, I hope you find some joy, and most importantly, I hope that you do something to make the world a better place. And I'll see you in my next one, kids. Bye!